Alrighty, welcome back to Hit the Gap podcast. Back again. Another week of, or another couple of weeks of pretty exciting games. I know this round 23, there were a fair few comeback games or...
Comebacks or upsets?
Yeah, upsets you could say, I guess. I mean, there were a bit of both, I think, between them. A couple teams fumbling and a couple teams fighting back for the win. Well-deserved win. So... We'll go back to round 22 and have a quick look, preview some of those games that happened. We had on Thursday night the West Tigers versus the North Queensland Cowboys at Leichhardt Oval. Now, this one was always going to be, or we thought it was always going to be a bit of an up in the air result. Fortunately for the Cowboys, going their way, but could have very well gone the other way. I mean, it seemed like it was all one-way traffic. Once I think Olam got sent off for a high shot on Ricky.
Yeah, he got sent off and it was just all over from there.
Yeah, so. It wasn't a sin bin, but it was oddly reminiscent, I guess, to Origin Game 1 where he made forceful contact with the head or with the chin, and that resulted in him leaving for the rest of the game. I think that was early in the second half or something like that.
Yeah, very early, yep.
Yeah, because it was pretty close game up until that point. I think there wasn't really much difference in the scoreline, which was to the Tigers' credit, I guess. It
did blow out in the end, but
it was one-way traffic for a bit there, and then even with 12 fellas on the field, the Tigers seemed to still stay in it and still fight because it's 18 points the difference, which. You know, the scoreline's massive.
Yeah, you really got to ask though, where is this like week in, week out? You know.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you look at this week where they didn't even really get challenged that much, but they just gave up.
Yeah,
we'll get to that one, but it's just where's this week in and week out? Like, there's just weeks where they show up and they just fight so hard, like they want it so bad.
Yeah.
And then there's weeks where they show up and they just don't give a fuck.
It's like they're not even there.
It's crazy.
Yep. Yeah. Still, staying in the fight for that game, but just that's it. After that, it was almost run away from the Cowboys in there. 18 points of difference. Like I said, not a massive scoreline, but yeah, it sort of just got the better of them in the end there, the Tigers, unfortunately. Next game was the Warriors versus Eels. So Warriors 20 points to the Eels 30. Bit of a comeback. I wouldn't say comeback to form, but a comeback game from the Eels. They actually they played relatively well in comparison to what they've been dishing up the last probably month and a bit or so, I think. Even the Melbourne game, right? Melbourne game the week prior wasn't too bad.
Wasn't awful, but I think realistically, you've really got to, man. I can't believe they've let him go, but Blaise Talongi, he is such a player.
Yeah.
He's just constantly wheeling and dealing, pulling players in left, right, and center.
Mm-hmm.
I think he scored one on his own as well. I can't believe they've let him go.
He did have a big one in this one. It sort of seemed almost a bit more like it was probably more Blaise's decision. Like, no matter what Parramatta did, short of maybe giving him $1 million contract or something, I don't think Blaise was staying from what it sounded like. I think Penrith obviously signing.
They got the money though.
I think Penrith possibly.
But is it worth giving it to such a young player?
On potential, probably not. I mean,
we'll see what happens in the next 2 years and decide if it's worth it, and then laugh more at them.
Yeah, I mean, any club doing that, it's just stupid. I know you can go on about retention and on juniors and stuff being terrible, but
look at us.
Yeah, it's just silly doing that because they're locking themselves into something. Who's to say, it's not a Schuster 2.0 sort of thing where we've seen it happen. We've definitely seen it happen. But yeah, a prospect nonetheless. Off to the Panthers, unfortunately. They, like I said, they had a bit of a return to form, or they played a lot better in this Warriors game, I found anyway. Much like the week just been, they actually started pretty strong, but luckily in this one coming away with the win, the Warriors just very, I think, disjointed. This was SJ's first game back, I think, since
and instantly gone again, yeah.
yeah, and then obviously hearing after that, or this week anyway, that he's announcing his retirement. This will be his last season in the NRL anyway.
Didn't play this week as well though, so
yeah, exactly. So yeah, and just unfortunate for the Warriors there. I think their finals hopes are pretty well done and dusted at this point.
Yeah,
they're just sort of playing for a bit of pride now, from what I've seen. Next game on the Friday was the Dolphins Roosters. This one was right down to the wire. Dolphins ending up on 34 points to the Roosters 40. They were coming back. They were coming back strong. It was just the Roosters in the end, I think, just clinched it, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know what the go is with these Finns, but they seem to go on a massive run, and then they just
die in the
arse. Yeah, like I don't know what the go is there.
Yep.
I think Bostock came out with I think Bostock had was it like a real late try as well, where it was like, oh shit, we can do it, and then they just died in the arse again. I think.
Yeah. Probably 10 minutes to go or so. I think sort of brought it within that 6-point margin anyway, or something like that. I think it was initially because the Roosters were still up there for a while. They just couldn't get it done, unfortunately, in this one here. Roosters still moving on, still a strong side.
Sam Walker really made sure that they didn't lose that game.
Yeah.
But you got to say that the Roosters got to tighten it up.
Yeah.
It's getting close, man.
Letting the Dolphins come back, exactly right, is a bit, you think a little bit concerning and stuff like that.
Very much so.
Definitely a dominant performance to get the amount of points they did, but then, just sort of to the wayside a bit, maybe focus a little bit gone. I don't know. I'm not too sure what happened there with that one for them, but luckily still getting away with the win. With the 6 points, they had extra 6 points there.
I think it was really just that I believe it's right edge. I want to say it's right edge. With Satili on it.
Yeah. I think Tippin was. Well, he might have been playing in the centers for this one. I think he's been playing in the
centers.
He
was center. He was center. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure it was on the right edge there. They just. Yeah, geez, I think it was Asako maybe who just started missing everything and just Satili going through.
Yeah, right.
I think he went through twice.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Couldn't get the full 80.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't get the full 80 going.
Yep, unfortunately. In the Saturday games, you had the Titans against the Broncos. This one was probably for that round anyway. 22 round 22. I think it was probably the shock result or the upset of the round. I mean, the Broncos started dominant as ever.
It's just even funnier when you look at the next round. It's just even funnier.
Yeah, exactly.
What in the fuck?
How? Literally how? The Broncos started strong and quite dominant, and then it took the Titans probably up until the second half almost really to lock in, but they just came out and just tore them apart. I mean, not so much playing for their season anymore, I don't think, the Titans, or maybe they are.
They were until this week, I think.
Until this week, you're right. So they were playing for their season still. But just absolutely dominated them. Broncos it was helter-skelter.
They had nothing.
They really didn't have anything, exactly right. It was almost like it threw them off. And
it wasn't like they were missing players or anything like that. They had a pretty much full squad, and they just fucking shit the bed. They cooked it.
That's pretty much like you said, shit the bed, and that was it. That was the end of their finals hopes, I think. Really,
realistically, I think so. Yeah.
They
would need to win every game now.
I think,
and even still, that's.
I think possibly. Well, I think it was every game then, but now I think it might be every game, and then relying on
certain people
to lose. Results, maybe, possibly. So there may still be a mathematical chance for them, but it's not looking good.
Looking grim.
Yeah. Then the next one being the Dragon Storm, another upset, only by 2 points, but a win nonetheless. That's all that matters.
This game was wild.
Yeah, 100%. Storm, I don't know, maybe just not as dominant as we've seen for a portion of the year.
They just sort of. It's. I mean, I feel like we talk about the Storm a lot, where they either come out and they smash you, or they come out and they do enough.
Don't get out of second gear or third
gear or they just don't do just enough. They just come out and they're like, yep, we can cruise through this. This will be right.
Yeah.
And then they lose by 2 points to the Dragons.
To a team that, again, pretty well out of finals contention, but playing for a bit of pride there that, they sort of let them back into the game, if you will. I guess you might as well say, that's it. So good win from the Dragons there. That a little bit of a consolation one the back end of the year, but good one nonetheless. I feel like going through these results, it's almost like Uno reverse card to what happened this weekend. Just been, so
pretty much.
This one, Sharks versus Rabbitohs.
This was expected, right? And but I think maybe people expected the Sharks to do what they did this week instead.
Well expected bounce back from the Sharks in this one. It was due. They needed it to happen, and probably a little bit underwhelming from the Rabbitohs, Yeah. But again, who they're just playing to play at the moment, seeing the season out. But yeah, it just I don't know.
This game, Trindle had a blinder.
Yeah. Yep.
Holy, dude can play footy.
Yep.
I don't know what he's on that makes him play so well, but he can play.
Yeah. I think that's he did. He started. He had good combination in that setup, but I think he was that where he injured his hamstring, or he might have tweaked it or something like that
towards the end. Yeah, and
they took him off. So had a like you said, a strong game up until toward the end there.
He got his own try.
Yep.
He got Stone Street in again. Yep. He's a magical kid, that bloke.
Yep.
I want to say, who was it who went over late? I think it was Iro.
Yeah, Kale Iro or Kyle Iro.
Yeah.
Kale Iro, I believe. In the centers.
Kale Iro, yeah.
Yep. It was the 65th minute. Yep.
He's also really coming of age as well. I think.
Yep.
The more that you see him play, he seems to score more and more. So.
Yep. Definitely finding his first grade form.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Cementing his spot in there, which is good for someone that was sort of coming in as a replacement for the most part at the start of the year. He's definitely made that centre position.
Same with Stone Street as well. Just people. There's all these people that are just replacement people, and they've all played either equal or better.
Yeah. Made a name or
made I even now I kind of rate Stone Street more than Mulatalo.
Yeah. Yep.
Because Mulatalo I find has those little lazy periods.
Yep.
And then lets points in as well. So.
Yep.
Stone Street looking good.
Yep. And the Sunday games we'll have a quick look at. Panthers versus the Knights, 22-14. This one was a pretty close contest, really, up until.
I don't know. Penrith and the Knights. It's a weird one. They just
mismatch almost. I don't know.
Yeah, it's sort of like Penrith and Eels. Penrith and Eels is another one that's very similar, where it's always just tight. It's never a sure thing, I don't think anyone suspected this though. It was only a one try game until like the last 10 or so.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, I think that's Cleary going over himself to sort of clinch it there for the Panthers, which is kind of oddly reminiscent of what we saw this weekend just being as well. But yeah, Knights just letting it slip. Unfortunately, there's been a few teams this year that if they haven't beaten the Panthers, they've taken it to them right up until the dying minutes of the game sort of thing, which is probably a bit of a sign of, I guess, the league sort of worked out how the Panthers work in that, but Panthers just being that.
But also their roster's been just like decimated.
Yeah.
And if not decimated, people just going down injuries the entire year. So I think Cleary's played half the year. Pretty
much, yeah. I think at this rate. But yeah, Panthers just too good, sticking to their systems and their ways.
Even Luai was out for a fair bit too, I think.
Yeah. So. Yep. But yeah, choking out the Knights in that one. Last game on the Sunday, Bulldogs Raiders. This one was a battle.
The return of Addo Carr.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. I think he got a couple
straight
tries.
Away. Got a double. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Definitely a battle. We sort of expected as much from both sides. Bulldogs probably being, if not the best defensive side in the league currently. I've heard something like that as a stat.
That's correct.
Yeah, and then Raiders, we know how their games can be. They'll just, it'll be a dogfight, and they'll just muscle up in defense, and they'll make it hard for you, try and break your will.
They just don't go away.
Yeah.
They really just don't go away.
Yep. Yeah, the Dogs, I mean, they've sort of, well, for the most part of the year anyway, I mean, they're standing on the ladder is representative of that, but they just sort of, they've hit that form or hit that stride almost. Like it's to be seen whether it continues in through the finals when it matters. But regardless, as a Dogs fan, you've got to be, over the moon about this year's form and excited for this finals run that's coming up for sure.
Long time, bro.
Yeah, like it's
20 years.
It's just everything just seems to be clicking. Yeah, everything just seems to be clicking and working. Like they're all, they're all on the same page almost here, and albeit probably still a couple players short, maybe a couple big forwards or something like that, but just making it work, getting through and getting solid, decent victories each week.
And I still think that they're pretty high chance that we see them in either semis or grand.
Yeah, they've very well got the...
I think it's very possible.
Very well got the opportunity. Exactly right.
Critter is I think leaving the Panthers was the best thing he could ever do.
Yeah, it's almost like he's had his chance to shine. I mean, he got all the accolades and that at center at the Panthers, but now he's got his own spot or his own team as such.
Well, yeah, now he's really, really showing what he can do.
Yeah,
not just as a player, but as a captain as well.
Yeah.
It's man, he is.
Yep. He's the man.
He's the man.
He's the bigger cog in the machine as opposed to probably the smaller one in general, like he was at the Panthers there.
That's right.
We'll come back to this weekend just being round 23. Rabbitohs versus Storm. This one was probably how it should have been.
A little as expected. Jai Gray doing well, and then the Storm just smashing.
Yeah, getting over
Storm smash.
A bit like when they played, I think, have to be a couple months ago now. Same sort of thing, the Rabbitohs were in it at the start, and then it just sort of died off, petered off. Storm did what they do, and then just dominated. So 28 points to 16 there. Fridays.
Actually, that's right. Big Nels.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I think
Big
you've
Nels.
been over.
Yeah, he did. Yep. Big Nels finally went over for a try this year.
Yep. It
happened.
He had a bit of a war with Milne, I think, for a little while there. He was a bit of war of words and a bit of
classic,
bit of shit in the tackles. They were throwing a bit.
I don't know if I'd want to be talking shit to Nels, but
yeah. There was a little bit of a battle going there, and
it's a bold move, Cotton.
I think he ended up winning that one. But Storm getting back to where they should be and where they have been this year so far with that result. And then you've got the Titans against the Sharks on Friday night, 44 points to 0 to the Sharks. Now this one's the one where, it was a bit insane. From what we'd seen from both teams,
especially like the last 5 weeks of both teams.
Yeah,
it's like, man.
Yeah, almost reverse card, right? Reverse card nearly.
Yeah, this was unreal. This was probably one of the biggest implosions we've seen towards the back end of a season, I reckon.
Yeah.
They just couldn't, for a team that has such a good attack. The only thing that they changed was they brought AJ back in now that he's not injured, and their attack was non-existent.
Yeah,
it wasn't like the Sharks were defending great, but fair play. They kept them to 0. Like, it is what it is. Like, they did well. But man, this was possibly the worst I've seen from the Titans since probably like maybe early in the year when they hadn't really meshed everything together yet.
Yeah. Yep.
And even still, I don't think they had a 0 game. Like, this was bad.
Yeah, it almost feels exactly right. It almost feels like that, where it's like whatever combination or whatever plan they've had, it's just there's been something thrown in the works almost, or something's just not right, sort of thing. It's disrupted, or it's upset their game plan.
And I mean, it wasn't like it was like anything special from the Sharks either. Like, a lot of the tries were really, really soft. They sent forwards in. There was forwards going in. There was centers going in.
Yep.
Wingers. Stone Street had another ridiculously good game.
Yep.
Ridiculously good game.
Yep.
He got robbed of a third, to be honest. He should have had a third, but they took it off him. Nakora went in. This was just a very, very, very slack game from the Titans. No one wanted a piece of it.
Yep.
I think Foz spent more time talking to a referee than he did playing the game.
Yeah, I did notice that a lot. And the Sharks, they took advantage of that, I noticed, too.
Oh, yeah.
Every opportunity they had, they knew that's what he was going to do, so they peppered him. Yeah, it was, for what we've seen, especially against the Broncos the week prior, there was not an almighty halftime spray in the world that could, or even full-time spray, that could have saved the Titans or turned the Titans around, I think, from that.
And they got one, and they still didn't do anything. So.
Yeah, it didn't resonate. They didn't respond, unfortunately, so... Yeah, I think that ends the Titans' finals hopes there, unfortunately, which is a bit rather unfortunate for them because they, like you said, they ramped up throughout the year.
They played hard, man. They fixed this shit.
Yeah, they turned their season around definitely toward the back end there, but just too little, too late, and then that one game like that, like it is, that's all it takes, and that's the season done.
It was like Cows last season.
Yeah, that's it, exactly right. Mad Monday on the horizon. The Friday game, next Friday game, we'll have a look at the Eels versus the Panthers. Now, this one looked like it was for all money going to the Eels. Like you mentioned earlier, they always seem to be the bogey team, the Eels for the Panthers. They just find a way to get it done.
And it doesn't matter whether it's at home or whether it's at Para. Yeah. It's just... Yep. This happens every time. It's not like a...
It's always a contest. Yeah. For the most part, it's always a contest, yeah. Yep.
It's just always tough for them. They don't know what it is. It's always a tight game. It's never a blowout. It's always a tight game. So...
Yeah. And this one, up until probably the last 10 minutes, I think the Eels were leading by 12, if not more points.
Yeah, it was... What was it, 18?
It might have been.
I'm pretty sure it was 18 points, and then they 18.
Just... Yeah.
Piled them on in literally 10 minutes. Yeah. They let in 3 tries within 12 minutes or something like that, and then banged the field goal as well. So
you could see where the switch flicked for the Panthers. It was around that 10-minute to go mark, 70-minute mark or whatever of the game, and that's it. Like you said, it was one try, kick off, set, another try, kick off, another set, another try, bringing it back, and unfortunately the Eels, it was one of the almighty chokes, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And of course, I feel like we're all sick of hearing it and we're all sick of saying it, but Jesus Christ, Nathan Cleary is
he's come back into form, man.
Pretty good footballer, man.
The first week, he sort of was like ironing out the kinks or whatever, just get rid of the dusting the rust off, and then now he's sort of hit his stride, which is what they would have been hoping for and what they want coming into finals now anyway.
Yeah, and the guy is just built diff in pressure situations. Like, he's just built diff. There's not really much else you can say. He really is on his way to immortality. I think
from stats anyway.
From stats alone, and he's got a long time left still.
Yep.
So.
Definitely, he's definitely showing why Panthers have been a dominant force for the last 4 years in the comp anyway. 4 to 5 years, I should say, rather.
5.
Yeah, so unfortunately, Eels just letting that one go. Again, doesn't really matter for their finals hopes or anything, but would have been after the week just gone, would have been a good little badge to have, taking out the Panthers again and putting in that good effort. But
big honourable mention again to Blaze as well. He
did give it.
Both him and Gutho had a really good game.
Yeah, gave it their all, definitely. Just not enough in the end there, unfortunately. Raiders Seagulls. This one looked like it was probably going to be a decent game for the first part, and then Seagulls just started to run away with it. 46 points to 24. It was all Seagulls from probably not even second half, just before the second half maybe.
Up until the last 10 minutes when Raiders for some reason decided to only try then, but I tell you, it was from probably maybe halfway in the first half, I want to say, about halfway-ish.
I think you're right, because I'm pretty sure Raiders had 12 points for most of the game.
Like it was an even game up until about halfway through the first half, and then they started getting some calls go against them.
Yep.
And they were tough calls. They were tough calls.
Yep.
I thought they got robbed a bit on a few of them. But then they just started to lose their way. I think the whole, Raiders are the most ruled on team in the comp, all that sort of stuff sort of plays a part here. You've got Tarpanay fucking swearing at Grant Atkins. You've got Tarpanay losing his shit.
And getting sent off.
Sinbind, yeah. But that continued for probably about, because it didn't stop in the first half. That's the thing. Like, it didn't stop. It started in the first half, about halfway in it.
Yep.
And then they just kept fumbling the bag every time whenever they get the ball, and they just do stupid stuff, and that didn't end until probably about maybe the 60th minute, I want to say.
Yeah, made life hard on themselves.
Yeah, then that's when they tried to play footy anyway.
Yeah, and again, too little, too late in that sort of situation. Unfortunately,
Manly had already put on 40 points at that point, so it was like,
what's
the point?
Yeah,
left it too late, boys.
Which Raiders again still they'll now be still fighting for some sort of finals hope, and probably only just scraping in, if they do, if at all, will be just scraping in based on some results.
Based on the results of the rest of the games here,
yep.
I don't think they can make it now.
have a quick look at the live ladder. I think they were, when they lost anyway, they were still sitting in about 9th or 10th, 11th now. Yeah, so tied 10th, but only just based on for and against. Are they losing? Are they losing that one? They've got just slightly worse for and against than the Knights. So really, Dolphins being on 26.
Yeah.
The Raiders really need to win every game from now, and they want to hope the Dolphins lose every game. Dolphins, Knights, and Dragons both lose every game from now.
That's a tall order, man. Holy.
Yeah, not where you want to be.
Not ideal.
When it comes to playing finals footy, relying on results like that. Unfortunate loss for the Raiders there. Probably making their season pretty well all but done, but hoping on a bit of luck go their way, unfortunately. On to the next game, not in that position just yet, the Cowboys, but very well close to it.
Slipping.
Yeah, slipping. Against the Broncos, their first 20 minutes, it seemed almost all Cowboys, right?
In fact, no Broncos at all.
Yeah, they just could not string. It was error after error after error. Cowboys had all the momentum. They had all the possession, all the go forward from both those things.
That switch real quick.
Yeah, and then even the end of that second half, Broncos, got it was pretty slack try, I think, that the Cowboys led on or whatever, and that was probably it. They sort of got a bit of a sniff, went in the sheds at halftime, come out wanting to play football. Still took them a little bit.
I still can't believe Corey Jensen scored a try, let alone scored first.
Yeah, exactly. That was soft. That was very, very soft, that try.
I want to know who had him for first try scorer.
Yeah, he was easily made.
Bloke hasn't scored in like 6 years.
They easily made $100 off that for sure.
He hasn't scored since he was playing for us.
Yeah, yeah. So
what the hell?
Yeah, went into the sheds, I think, at halftime, and probably Kevy's given them a Desi spray or a Kevy spray, a special.
Maybe even a tinge of Wayno.
Yeah, Cowboys just came out, and I don't know whether it was that complacency of thinking maybe they had it on lock or something. I don't know, but it was hard to watch, man. It was hard to watch because it was almost like they'd both swapped then. Cowboys had no go forward.
Burr.
Yeah, Cowboys had no momentum, no go forward. They just couldn't finish their sets properly. Errors after errors. That's it. Drop balls, loose carries. Forward passes. I think forward passes were a big thing that game. I noticed.
Yeah, and we talk about it every time we talk about cows. Kicks.
Yeah, not great kicks. There were a couple from Chad that weren't too bad close to the line, but for the most part, I'd say 70% of them probably resulted in nothing. They were just nothing kicks. Not to mention the one where it was a defining moment in the game, but not for us. It was a positive defining moment somehow
getting the penalty, and then
Walsh kicked it out on the full, or he didn't. Drinkwater or whoever caught it and made it go out on the full. He took it out on the full.
Yep.
Which would have gave us a penalty kick from the 50-meter line to start our set, and Chad didn't even make touch. I mean, at the best of times, his penalty kicks gain us maybe 5 meters sort of thing, but this one I don't know. Granted, it was a bit windy. I know it was a bit windy. I was there, but man, fuck me.
It was. Yeah,
it doesn't even matter at that point. You're starting from the 50-meter line. Just fucking make touch.
Just make touch. Doesn't matter what you do at that point. It's not going to be any different to any other kick you do anyway. So
yep, kicks the ball, and it almost it just holds up and gives. Don't think it was, who was it? I don't know whether it was Mariner or whoever, just leapt up and batted it back in, or might have even been Walsh, batted it back in.
No, it was Mariner.
Mariner, yep, back into the field of play, nice and easy, did all he had to do, and Broncos stormed up the field, and I think that's pretty well almost where it just
they went on a run
from there. Yeah, Broncos just went on a run from there, man, and there was nothing. There was almost nothing Cowboys were doing from there, really, unfortunately.
Depression.
Yeah, it was tough.
Tough to watch, man. It was tough to watch.
They, Broncos, I think, just got that sniff there. They just got that sniff, and then that's it. Halftime, come out, and they just went hard. Try after try after try. Much like that Panthers comeback. Just try after try. Stags just running an absolute muck. But, good win for the Broncos. Broncos fans will be loving that. Again, season's still over, but it's something something that you're hoping your team does is have a fucking go. And after a very slow first half, they did. They came back and clinched that one and did it very well.
How'd it go?
Very well indeed. Last Saturday game, Bulldogs-Dragons. I think Dragons fans were quietly confident they may be able to take it to the Bulldogs.
Especially after last week, I thought, even I thought was like, man, Cogger as well.
They really thought they were going to take it to them, or at least, make a game out of it. But Dogs doing what dogs do.
Yeah, Bronson Jerry said no.
Yep. Don't argue.
He dominated that entire game.
Don't argue. Sit back down. You aren't playing finals footy. That's our job. Sit down, boys.
Man, he's got quite the impressive story. Quite the impressive story, Bronson Jerry.
Yeah, for someone busted on pissing hot on his steroids or whatever it was 5-6 years ago. I think he was at the Sharks at the time.
Yeah, Sharks.
He was a very, very touted prospect coming through. He was meant to be the next big thing, and then, had that happen. He's obviously stuck to it ever since, which is good, and given his opportunity this year, it's he's made the most of it, definitely. In the centres there at the Dogs, he's been a attacking weapon for them. I don't know, Dragons maybe just a few errors again, right?
Lomax had a pretty good go, but I think even like Benny was making some pretty uncharacteristic mistakes. Which is very uncharacteristic for Dozer. But they just couldn't get it worked out. Lomax did well. Sloan scored one as well. His was more. His was pretty soft. But, unfortunately, you can't win a game off one or two people.
No.
And you kind of all need to play the game, especially when you're versing someone who you'd have to probably argue is probably going to be top 4 in the next 2 or 3 games.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be getting a home game.
Very good possibility. Definitely. Very good possibility. Yep. Yeah, man. It's, it's, you know what I mean? Probably the expected result. I tipped the Dogs, but you would have just thought there might have been a little bit more after the week prior. Yeah.
Especially after beating the Storm,
Yeah.
Bit of a boon.
Yep.
But no.
Unfortunately not. And Kyle taking a little nip at Crichton's nose there. His dad,
hungry
coach, Kyle says he didn't do it, and I believe him, even though there's direct footage of him doing it. It might be a bit of contributing factors. Crichton was being a bit of a cunt, and
but also you kind of have to argue that. Look, there's no way he didn't bite his nose.
No, exactly.
He
right.
definitely did. The images are clear. The video's clear.
There's no way there's blood drawn. You know what I mean? Otherwise,
I would have to say that's probably 2-3 weeks, which means that they have to now do what they need to do without Kyle.
Yeah.
Bit of a tall order.
Mm-hmm.
Do you put Ben into 6?
I wouldn't think so. There's not really any point this part.
Because who else do they have who can play?
They'd have to be bringing in a junior of some sort. I think they do have 2. There's 1 or 2 juniors they've got that may be halves or halves prospects. No idea what their names are. I've heard them mentioned prior. I don't even know if they've debuted in first grade yet. I don't think they have. But this point in the year, man, they're not playing finals, so you might as well give them a run. Leave the system as it is, sort of thing. Just bring them in, say this is what we've got going on here. This is how it is. So do what you can do for us, and don't bite anyone's fucking nose.
Don't bite anyone's nose, whatever you do.
Yeah. I think it's just for the Dragons.
They have been prone to putting Lomax back to fullback as well.
Yeah.
So maybe the Lomax plays fullback and Sloan plays 6. But that sounds so much worse. I don't know.
Could possibly, but yeah, exactly right.
I don't know. That's a tough one.
We've seen the.
It could have been anyone else to bite the nose. Why did he have to do it, bro? Seriously.
Like I said, a few contributing factors there. Crichton had his head right in, rubbing him in, and he basically stuck his fucking nose in his mouth.
He kind of fed him. Yeah, he kind of fed him the nose. But anyway.
Yeah, it might have not even been a forceful bite as such, sort of thing. But yeah, bite's a bite nonetheless.
Bite's a bite nonetheless. That's
Probably better off fucking swinging a punch into the side of his head than doing that or something.
Probably get more enjoyment out of it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Probably going to be sitting the same amount of time, so...
Yeah, so unfortunate one for the Dragons there. Like you said, a little bit of a headache. We'll have to see what they do in terms of their halves there.
I'm excited for this next one. This is a good one.
And Dolphins was, yeah.
This was awesome, bro.
Right down to the wire, this game.
How many games has there been this year where Warriors have lost by 1 or 2 points?
Mm-hmm. And from such a comeback too, Dolphins, much like, well, I won't say the Cowboys game because they lost that earlier, or went the wrong way earlier, but the Penrith Eels game we were looking at, much like that, the Dolphins had it for all money, and Warriors just found a way. They just found a way to bring it back, and then only to right at the end there.
And they were pumping.
I think there was probably maybe 2 shots at field goal from the Warriors that went astray.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the difference is, they've got Chanel and Dolphins have Isaiah.
Yeah.
And apparently Sullivan.
Yeah, Sullivan. Yeah, I think even Dolphins took a shot and missed initially, but it come to O'Sullivan, and O'Sullivan just hit a massive. It was a 2-pointer, right?
It was a 2-pointer.
It was huge.
It was the most hilarious thing because and I think I was the only one who commented on it in the group chat, but they were on 5th and they ran far right to get over the 40, and all I was sitting there thinking, why have they done that?
Yeah.
Why would they not try and centralize?
Yep. Only to pass it back in.
But it's intentionally done because O'Sullivan is a left footer, and he can only really slot him from that side, left to left. So, I didn't see that coming. Everyone else on the wires were looking at Osako as well. So, and Osako had pushed further mid because. Obviously, that's where you want to kick from.
Bait him,
So he baits him in mid. No one's looking at O'Sullivan. He fucking slots a perfect 40 meter.
Yeah, it was a boot. And well, I mean, only again by the 2 points. They they let it go a little bit toward the end there, but well deserved win.
Amazing win
after the game as a whole, and it was a contest, man. Like it was a weekend of comeback games, but that was probably the best one I think by far.
Do have to say. Kurt Capewell, he's doing really well right now.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is. Every time he plays Origin, whether it's a good result or a bad result, for what it's worth, the back end of his year usually improves drastically. I think he's scored in the last 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, probably one of the Queensland players to come out of Origin, not in a hoodoo or in better form.
Just in better form, yeah.
Yeah, sort of thing. Taking
Hammer
back to Clubland, and Hammer, while we're still on that game, Hammer quite quiet by his own standards the last month or so, month and a bit. Just maybe post
5-6 weeks.
Blues. Who knows whether he's carrying something, who knows. But just not the same standard, not held to or performing to the same standard rather as
not what we're used to seeing anyway.
Yeah, exactly right. Last game of the round was the Knights versus the Tigers. 34 points. Knights to the West Tigers 18, and Fletcher Sharp nearly going over for 5 tries in one game there. I'm surprised.
Did one get knocked back?
I don't know if it got disallowed. He didn't get there. The one I'm thinking of. He was well and truly nearly there, but I think he
did get 4 though for sure.
Yeah, he either got sent over the touchline or the play got shut down or whatever. But nearly made it. 5 men.
And I mean, look, it is props to Fletcher. He had a fantastic game.
Yeah.
And some of those tries were fucking awesome.
Yep.
This really, really shows the experience of the current Tigers squad, I think.
Yeah.
They ran the same play like 10 times and they scored off it.
Yep.
At nearly a 50% rate.
Yep.
That's to run the same play that many times in an 80-minute game and have it succeed that many times is a bit of a yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Benji has got some work to do.
Yep.
Lucky he's getting some experienced players next season. Hopefully it's a little bit more competitive, but yeah.
You can't, you know what I mean? You can't sort of put it straight on them in their first full season.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Seraldo or whatever. I mean, but even you would think the Dogs last year sort of showed a little bit more fight or a bit more effort or whatever. Granted, it was 2 different coaches. You know what I mean?
And I mean, Dewey coming back as well has been excellent. I think
definitely.
I've honestly actually loved him as a center.
Yeah,
exactly. I think he's a fantastic center.
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully that continues for sure.
Yeah, that definitely. It was sort of when he was. I think Sheens was still there. Possibly it might have even been Madge when Madge was there. Rather, he was getting floated between centre and 5'8".
Centre and 5'8", yeah.
He was doing all right in the centres, but they just kept throwing him at 5'8", and that's when he's come back from his knee injury.
But they kept throwing him back and forth between different positions and just making it like, how are you supposed to develop any level of consistency at a club that already struggles with developing consistency?
Any consistency,
it's just, you can't do it.
I think we spoke on it a little bit when we were talking about him coming back from his knee injury and where he plays with their current setup, what they've got going on, and I think I mentioned he'd probably go straight back into the centre position or whatever, and he has. He's really he's come back strong.
Dude, he's owned it.
Yeah, it's taken like a little bit when he first came back just to get back into the groove of it, but
he's been aggressive. He's made great meters.
Yeah,
he's made good PCMs as well.
Yep.
He hasn't been re-injured. Even better. And he's getting tries.
Yeah. Exactly.
What more can you ask of a centre?
It's almost the plug and play player they've needed for a little bit there, just to fill that spot and give him a little bit of almost like an RTS of sorts, 100%. Coming back and just knowing what he's doing.
Just built for it, man.
Yeah. Yep. So that rounds out round 23. We'll do a quick preview of round 24 here. Thursday night's game, Panthers versus the Storm. So first versus second. I think there's only probably one or two wins. One win between them now these days. After the last few results. Going to be close. Thursday
night. This is going to be epic.
Yeah.
This is going to be epic.
It's going to be very close, I think, this one, man. I'm inclined, I want to tip the Storm, but I'm inclined to tip the Panthers almost here. I mean, it is at their home ground. That's neither here nor there in why I'm tipping them, but just from what I've seen so far, the only thing that's sort of swaying me or stopping me from it, other than the positions on the ladder, would be the injuries. I think Panthers have just they lost Sorensen relatively early on in the game, and I think Liam Martin's out now as well.
Oh, actually, how long? I mean, look, Sorensen will be a 4-weeker for sure.
Yeah,
he ain't come back till finals.
They've got to see. He's definitely set for a stint on the sidelines.
It'll be 4 weeks. It's hamstring.
Yeah, they don't know. I don't think they
minimum 4.
Don't think they've even seen what the extent of it is. So even if it is 4 plus, whatever it is, he's definitely seeing a little stint on the sidelines there. But Liam,
I didn't see what happened to Martin. Was it maybe a HIA?
I'm not too sure. We'll have a quick squiz and just see. But both set for a little while on the sideline there, unfortunately, which is they've got a couple players they can slot in, but it's just going to throw things up in the air a little bit, and doesn't even have anything on here. Maybe it might be up in the air.
Oh wait, no, I think it was Dane Laurie who got the bad head knock.
That was a week or two ago, last week, I think. Liam Martin,
because he played this week.
Liam Martin, Laurie. I don't think Laurie did. Just have a quick squiz.
No, he definitely played this week because he dropped the first ball of the game.
We talking Dane Laurie?
Yeah.
Squiz.
Yeah, he dropped the very first ball of the game. He dropped it, and it was very sus.
Unless he possibly copped another. He did too. There you go. Dane Laurie copped another head knock in this game. Did he?
Actually, it was really funny. He dropped the very first ball of the game. Then I'm pretty sure he scored on the second one. It's funny how this game works.
All right, suspension. That's why. So it wasn't an injury. Dangerous contact charge for Liam Martin. Who would have thought? What do we got?
Oh, actually, I remember what this one was for. This was soft. Is he getting one? Is anything getting one?
1 week with a guilty plea, which you would have to think he's going to take, right?
I mean, honestly, given their position on the ladder, he should fight that.
Yeah,
he should fight that because I think he'll get off.
Yeah, could possibly.
Because I think that was even the commentators from, if it's the one I'm thinking of, was it on RC?
RC, Dejan RC.
Yeah, he fights that 100%.
Yep.
He fights that 100p.
Was it after a kick or something? Possibly. I feel like I'm.
Yeah, it was after a kick. Yeah. It was trash. It was barely even contact.
Yeah.
It was worse than
Not as bad as
It was worse than the Grant one.
Yeah, or worse call as such. You mean? Yeah.
Like it was bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, well, there is.
He should fight that.
There is every possibility he does, and especially with the precedent that Grant set when he did fight that one initially.
Because I mean, look, if he wins, he gets off. If he loses, he gets 2 weeks. I think either way, that's a win.
Yeah.
You either rest him for 2 weeks, I don't think their position on the ladder changes if they lose their next 2 games either.
Yeah, they're possibly still 2 wins ahead of whoever's behind them, I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if they lose both their next games, they'll still be second.
They are. So Roosters being in third at the moment are only on 32 points, where Panthers are 36. So they've still got those. They've still got the 2 wins ahead.
I think you fight that 100%.
Yep.
And if you lose, who cares? It's a longer break.
Yep.
A little bit of an extra break, more training, more chill.
Yeah. Inclined to tip them, but. Yeah, I don't know with a couple outs.
The other thing is, I think we're also just going to have to actually wait for team lists as well with this game, because I think given the fact that their centers are they're going to be weaker in the center and they're going to be weaker in the forward pack, players like Sulavi Farlogo can make a bit of an impact here as well.
Yeah, speed.
So it depends on how they roster their team. Geez, it must be nice to have their bench.
Yep.
But I think we watch for team lists there. But will tentatively place my pennies on the Panthers right now. If my tip were to change to the Storm, I would not be shocked.
Yeah. It's a tough one just seeing what the game plan's going to be just yet. But, yeah, I'm thinking I want to tip Penrith just to have that little somewhat left field one. And they've just been on that bit of a resurgence, whereas the Storm have just been a little bit shaky as of late. But I might go Storm on this one, just from everything we've seen so far, or the information we have so far. But, yeah, team list, like you said, probably going to play a big part in that game, definitely. Friday games, we'll have a quick squiz at Seagulls versus the Warriors. This is in Manly at Four Pines Park there. You've got to...
going to Four Pines as well when Manly's going to be top... They're contending top 4, so...
I think they are they 7th at the moment or 8th? No, we're 7th. They will be 9th.
Eagles will be 6th. Eagles will be 6th.
So they've got that 1 point ahead of everyone.
That's right.
1 point.
So they're actually in contention to make top 4 still. Especially if doggies shit the bed a little bit along the way. So, I 100% will be backing the Eels here no matter what. The Eels, the Eagles.
Yep.
Eagles,
Yep.
rather. I just don't think the Warriors have anything to play for, and I think that going to Four Pines, you will get just berated. Berated.
A little bit of, what we've seen dished up, and albeit, like you said, that comeback last week or this weekend just been was quite good.
I don't know if we see a similar result against a team like the Eagles, though.
Yeah, it was good effort, definitely a good effort, and made for a good game. But yeah, I don't know whether you're going to see that again, unfortunately for them. So I'll be tipping the Eagles in that one. Second one on the Friday being the Roosters versus the Eels in this one. All money, I think, from everyone's probably going to the Roosters. Now, while the Eels did start solid the last couple of weeks, they nearly had it. I just, again, I don't know whether I've got enough faith to put in them. You know what I mean? To hold out against the Roosters, especially with Walker. You know what I mean? Roosters seem to start quite fast as well. So I just think they've got a little bit more in terms of class above.
The other thing is I think both Walker and Keary are incredibly good at shutting down the back rows of teams. And I think Parramatta right now are very, very, very reliant on their back row.
Yep.
Going to ANZ, don't think it's going to happen.
Yep.
I just don't think it's going to happen.
Roosters.
I think it's Roosters for sure.
Yep. Saturday games, Bulldogs versus the Dolphins. Now, again, we did see quite a decent game against these two last time, but albeit Dolphins snatching the win at the end there, saving their solid lead last week. I think the Dogs have probably got one over them on this, possibly. This is an odd one. I think it's a Dogs home game, even though it's in Bundaberg. They do that once every year or something like that. But
that's right.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think the Doggies are just probably that force at the moment. I don't know whether the Dolphins have got enough consistency. Unfortunately, especially with players like Hammer being as quiet as he has, and
Nichols will
like
most likely be injured as well, I think.
That's right. He copped a bad head knock.
Yeah, really nasty head knock. Yeah. There was neck issues, I believe.
Yep. So
or back issues, maybe one of the two.
One of their forwards will be without one of their big men, unfortunately, which is what you need against the Dogs when they're they're playing as well as they are, or they've got such good defensive stats like they do.
Yeah, big time. You need to really force people to actually play in the middle.
Yep.
If you don't, they're gonna be spread. Their scramble's gonna be better. It is what it is.
Yep.
Which they've clearly proved as well. So they've clearly proved they're good at that now. No refuting that. I'll be tipping the Dogs this game.
Yep.
It'll be hard not to.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see the Finns win though.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd love
Keep
to see
the finals hopes alive.
I'd love to see Finns just to really spice the finals up a little bit.
Yep. Even if they only make it by being in 8th place, you'd love to see them go on a bit of or be in finals contention, play some games in the finals. So early on in their career, you know what I mean?
Really hammer home just how good a coach Bueno is.
It is. Yeah, exactly right.
No pun intended with the hammer.
Next game on the Saturday, the Cowboys versus the Raiders. Again, another scary one. Should have won that game last week. We should have kept in control of that, the Cowboys, but just let it slip against a team that's got nothing to play for, bar a bit of pride, I guess. Now you've come up against a prick of a team who are playing to have some sort of contention or hope to play finals.
The one thing that I like about this game is that it's at home.
Yeah, another home game. We've been pretty, blessed, I guess, in the sense of a few consecutive home games at the end of the year, but we didn't get them early on. That's why that is. But yep.
The thing for me is the Raiders have a very good record against us.
Yeah.
I think we won. I think we beat him on the last one.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I don't like versing them when they're in this sort of dog mood.
Yeah,
where they've got nothing left to play for. But they'll still be happy to keep up records and stuff like that, and really try and ruin your game.
Yeah.
And I think the one thing that is potentially okay for this for us is that I believe Rapana is injured.
Okay. Yep.
And Rapana is probably one of the people who, for some reason, just has a really easy time at getting under our players' skin.
Yeah. Yep.
And it happens every time. Every time. There's always push and shove. There's always argy-bargy with Rapana. If Rapana's not there, I like our odds to increase higher.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm going to be going cows here.
Good attacking player as well, definitely. You know, he just seems to, whether it be from either a challenge or he just sees something other players don't do, he just seems to make the most of his moments.
Finds his time, finds his timing really well, especially down that left edge.
Yep. Not like it's every week or he's changing the world of rugby league every week, but yeah, he always just seems to be doing the right thing. As much as he seems to be doing the wrong thing as well. But I got faith being at home. I am still a little bit concerned, especially after what I've seen as of late from the Cowboys. But I'll be going Cowboys on this one as well, just based on the fact that
Jace might be back this week as well.
Okay, righto.
He might be back this week,
yep.
But he also may be back next week.
Yep.
So
be a welcome comeback,
big time,
a solid forward, because we did miss that a bit. Last week I found
we're about to verse a team with the biggest forwards.
We just lost that go forward. The Cowboys did last week, unfortunately, and they had Purdue on the bench, who I don't even think got a run.
He did not get a run, and I was very upset about it.
Yeah. Next game on the Saturday, the last game of the Saturday, will be the Tigers versus Rabbitohs. Two bottom of the table teams, but you would have to think, even despite the scoreline last week or the week before, you would have to think Rabbitohs are going to come away with the win on this one, right?
I'm going to go. This is why I'm the bottom of the tipping, but
the left field.
I am going to left field Tigers here.
Yep.
I just think that the forwards of the Tigers have a very, very good, consistent record against the Bunnies.
Yep.
So we'll see how this plays out. I'll probably be wrong.
See how the matchup
Don't
goes.
follow my tips.
Yep.
But I will be going Tigers here.
Yep.
Unless, of course, something goes wrong in the midweek where we lose either Stefano or we lose either Fainu.
Okay. Yep.
Yes.
Right, so we got 1 Tigers and 1 Rabbitohs on that one. Again, 2 teams playing for nothing but
nothing but pride.
The pride, yeah. You know,
or something. I don't know if it's pride for Tigers, but it's something.
I don't even think the Tigers can get away from the wooden spoon at the moment, can they? Are they too far gone? They might be a possibility they can avoid it, but it's not looking like they will. So Rabbitohs are definitely going to want to keep them down there. Being in 15th, they're going to want to keep them down the bottom of the ladder. Sunday's games, Dragons versus Titans. Tough one to pick here because both of them, you're expecting some sort of comeback again, finals contention. Dragons are actually 9th. For some reason, I had in my head they were 12th.
No, they are 13th. They still have a chance.
Yeah, so they are still playing. That makes a fair bit of sense then.
It's the Titans who are now done.
Yeah. So you got Dragons playing for finals hope and Titans trying to recover after getting fucking embarrassed last week, right?
Titans playing for trying not to get whipped in the sheds by Desi after.
Yeah, before and after.
Really? Yeah.
It's a tough one to pick just based on what they've both dished out because they've both got some good wins. And then last week consecutively, they both got some fucking terrible, horrid losses. So.
Yeah. Look, I'm gonna go Dragons, but
they need the win.
They need the win. That's the thing. They need it. Yeah. I don't think he has 2 bad games in a row. There's no way.
Yep.
There's no way.
Yeah. Dragons fans are hoping not.
Fire up.
Yeah. Yeah, no, much the same. I think just based on the fact they need it, they need that win to keep in contention. Yeah, definitely.
Big time.
Thinking Dragons, even if it's only by a small margin in the end, I think, it'll be the Dragons getting it there. And the last game of the round, Knights versus the Sharks.
No questions. This has got to be a Sharks game.
Geez, Knights again as well, still playing for some sort of shot at playing finals footy here, but I don't know whether they just seem to be able to let it slip. They can put a couple points on, but they just seem to be able to let the fucking game slip, right? The Knights do, and Sharks are the last couple of weeks just been bringing it back home. So
the other thing is I think defensively, the Knights have the probably 2 worst defensive wingers in the game.
Yep.
No shots fired.
Yep.
I mean, kind of, but. And the Sharks currently have probably 2 of the most consistent wingers in the game.
Yeah, yep.
So I think you're going to load up on Stone Street, boys. That's all I'm saying. Load up.
Yeah.
At least double. At least.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're right. It's got to be Sharks. It has to be Sharks just based on what we've seen. You know what I mean? What we've seen for both teams the last couple of weeks. And Ponga, albeit Ponga has been...
He played really well this week.
Yeah, he has helped. Coming back has helped. He's starting to come back in and...
actually run the ball.
Do some things, yeah. But I don't know. Don't know whether it's going to be enough. So I think it'll have to be Sharks for me on that one as well.
Definitely Sharks for me.
Yep. Moving on from the previews and that, we'll have a quick look at the fantasy suggestion for the week. Now, this one here, we're at the end of the year where it doesn't matter what you're playing, whether it's overall or head-to-head or where you are. I mean, even if you're not going to be playing any finals games, knockout round games, if you're still trying to make a trade or you got trades miraculously somehow. I know last week I had the option of either trading out Curran or Sorensen. Didn't need to, but wanted to get rid of one of them just to make a bit of money. I thought, rightio, Curran has supposedly got a shoulder injury he's nursing, so it makes sense to get rid of him. And then even if Sorensen gets managed the next couple of weeks, he's still someone, dual position, and he can get some points. But yeah, he played for maybe 20 minutes, and now he's sitting down for a few weeks. So fortunately for me, wasted it down to my last trade. But if you're like me, you'll be looking at getting someone like Jacob Preston from the Bulldogs. Great edge, consistently putting up high numbers since he's been back. You're going to get at least 50s out of him for the rest of the year, and currently at 719k. So you're not trying to make money, you're not trying to downgrade or anything like that. You want to get someone that's going to get you some points. So
Preston's a right edge, right?
I believe so, man. Yeah.
Yep. That's not a bad choice, considering he's versing the Dolphins.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, so could see some big. I mean, regardless his stats he's putting up, you'll get decent, but you could see some even bigger numbers, some inflated numbers this week out of him.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. And your try of the week from week just been, is it?
Yeah, it's got to be Will Penasini. As much as I think we all know here that I don't like the Eels very much.
Mm-hmm.
So it takes a bigger man to stand up and say this was a great try.
yeah. It was being in it until right in the end, and it turned up results.
I think just the fact that it was such a good game, and then to see a try like that, it could have happened to anyone, but because it happened to Luai as well, was even funnier. But Luai, we'll start from the front. Brownie puts a nice, really, really perfect kick, perler of a kick, right in next to the goalpost. Luai's got to take it. He's got to run with it. He couldn't get out. Penasini and Brown both get him, but they put him on the ground and he spills the lollies backwards. Of all ways, he has to spill it backwards, and Brown just puts his hand on it. Penasini just puts his hand on it. And
that's it.
It's beautiful.
Sticking to it right into the end there and getting the points. Unfortunately,
sensational.
Not changing the result in the end, but a good try nonetheless. And you love to see those ones go the right way anyway. Yeah.
You really just love this. You got to love this game. Rugby league is a great game.
Yeah,
it's a funny game.
Yeah,
it works in funny ways.
Yep,
this was one of them.
Yeah, most definitely. I think that's probably about it. I've just seen the Blaze Talangi news is confirmed. The Panthers have confirmed their signing of him till 2027, so he's got a nice couple-year deal there. And as well as Ewan Aitken off to the Rabbitohs, following Uncle Wayne to the Rabbitohs until 2027 as well. So a couple player movements, all rumoured or expected anyway.
Pangai's probably going to go with him too.
I think Pangai's going overseas for next year. I don't know how many years he's over there. He's off to Hull, I think it was. Yeah, I believe. But he's off to the Super League anyway.
It wouldn't shock me if he tries to go back with Wayne.
Yeah, definitely might even do a couple years over there, a year or two. And then if they, Rabbitohs, because I believe Wayne's over there for 3 years, if Rabbitohs get rid of someone, in that time, whether he ends up picking him up as well. But yeah, I think that's about it for us for this week. There was anything else in particular?
Utua Kamani was confirmed for Storm.
Yep.
And that's about it.
Yeah. Yep. Very nice. All right. As usual, give us a follow on socials, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and listen to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And until next time, thanks for tuning in.